Just a heads up, guys. I am not feeling well. My throat is absolutely on fire. So that is why the race view was not uploaded last night. I was trying to get better. It's still hurting. I little, one of those throat drops, cough/throat drops. So to help me get through this video, because talking is going to be very difficult. I know you guys don't like it when I talk, anyways. But trust me, this is not going to be a very long video. Shout out to Cody Rhodes. Shout out to Triple H. That is what I was watching last night. I am definitely, I know a lot of you guys are wrestling fans as well. I'm definitely back into wrestling, man. I haven't watched consistently in probably 12 years, 11 to 12 years. The last time I remember really watching was the CM Punk John Cena feud. So what is that, 13 years ago now? That's the last time I really watched on a consistent basis. And I'm telling you, WWE is back. So if you have not been watching WWE like me, this is the way to go now. It's definitely back. It's definitely very entertaining. So I just wanted to give that a shout out, because I think a lot of people last night after the NASCAR race were watching that, and yeah, it's really good. I have a little hope that I want the wrestler MJF to be in WWE, because I think he's hilarious, but that's just what I want, but I don't think that's going to happen. But I just want to hope I have. But let's get into NASCAR, because that's what you guys are here for. Martinsville, the Cookout 400 was definitely a cookout for Martinsville. The one benefit of doing this on a Monday is that I could actually see Jeff Gluck's poll for is this a good race, and when I voted this morning, it was 70 to 30. 70% no, 30% yes. So I would, obviously 7 out of 10 NASCAR fans say it was not a good race, and I am in that boat as well. Martinsville used to be one of the races I always looked forward to, and this weekend when I saw it was Martinsville coming up, I just was not looking forward to it, and that's really sad. I think that's a true shame, and it's not the track's fault. There's nothing wrong with Martinsville Speedway. There really is not. It's a beautiful racetrack, beautiful facility, a lot of tradition, a lot of history, but it's one of the best racetracks that NASCAR goes to. It has always been that way, and it still is, and it will be like that 10, 20, or 30 years down the line. The reason why this is not a good race, the reason why Martinsville has not been a good race for quite some time now, is NASCAR's fault. It is not Martinsville's fault. It is not the racetrack. And I think most people know that. We all know that. Martinsville's a wonderful racetrack, and unfortunately, it's just, it is what it is. The Cup Series going there has not been having a great time. The Xfinity Series and the Truck Series still has the classic beating and banging and the tempers flaring, and I feel like fans enjoy those races more. And to be honest, hardcore fans, are enjoying Truck and Xfinity a lot more than the Cup Series at this current moment. If you're someone like me, I usually don't catch the Truck or the Xfinity Series. I'm usually always busy on Saturdays. And for me personally, I just have always been into the Cup Series more. That's just how I've always been. I keep an eye out on the Xfinity Series because I like seeing the young drivers. I like seeing who's coming up that could be coming into the Cup Series. But for me, I don't watch Xfinity week in, week out. So, unfortunately, I know the good racing is there. I know the good racing's in the Xfinity Series. Week in, week out, they are putting on a great show. The product is very good. The car is very good. And that's without the horsepower. Xfinity Series cars don't have, everyone says put more horsepower, but those cars don't have that kind of horsepower, and they're still putting on a great product no matter where they go, whether it's a road course, whether it's super speedway, whether it's a speedway, whether it's a short track. It's a great product. And so there was a clip that came out over the week with Dale Earnhardt Jr. He was on his, his junior podcast, and he was talking about the next gen car, and he was basically talking about, and you guys know this. I've been saying this in my race reviews for a long time. I really would like to know what the fix is with this car, but I can't say what it is. I can't say for certain if you throw in 900 horsepower, will that fix everything? I have an idea that it would help a little bit, but I don't think it would fix everything. So what is the fix? And I was listening to Dale Earnhardt Jr., and he basically said, talking about how when the next-gen car was built, it's designed to drive really nicely. It's designed to drive good. It has bigger tires, a lot of downforce in it. It's just everything, the steering rack, the sequential shifter. It's designed like a Trans Am car. It's designed to be really good at those road courses and stuff like that, to drive really well. In that way, it's fundamentally wrong for NASCAR. I think we can come to that conclusion now, that the next-gen car is actually fundamentally wrong for NASCAR. It has made the road courses worse. It has made the short tracks worse. And there really isn't that much of a difference at intermediate tracks. It's just that you can move your line at the majority of intermediate tracks right now in NASCAR are pretty good with like the track type, the track wear, the multiple lanes, so you don't have to get stuck in dirty air. The fixes for this car to make races like Martinsville, to make the road course races, which we all wanted more road course races in the mid 2010s, late 2010s. We all wanted more road course races because those are really good races with the Gen 6 car, whereas the intermediate races were really bad with the Gen 6 car. Now it is completely flipped. And so it's a fundamental flaw in the car that, and this is why I feel like Dale Jr. he's so smart. And I feel like he should, I don't know if he wants to, he probably doesn't want to, but he should be like in one of the main voices that has say within NASCAR, within what direction NASCAR goes in. And that's not because I was a Jeff Gordon fan, guys. Shout out home field again. I was a Jeff Gordon fan when I was growing up. I never rated Dale Earnhardt Jr. Like when I was growing up, when I was young, when I didn't know anything, I didn't look at Dale Earnhardt Jr. and think, oh, he's really good. I looked at Dale Earnhardt Jr. as, he's an average race car driver. Especially like once I really started understanding what was going on. I would say once you turn like 10 years old, you kind of really understand what's going on after that. So I didn't really remember much of the DEI days when he was actually like really performing well. 2004, was one of his best years, I think. And so when he was at Hendrick Motorsports, he was just, to be honest, like an average race car driver, in my opinion. Great plate racer, but an average race car driver. However, his understanding of the sport, he's literally grown up in it, literally born in it. His understanding of the sport is second to none. I think there's nobody in NASCAR that understands NASCAR quite like he does. And he makes a lot of good points. The tires being too big. There's so much tire on the track. In the previous car, we had less tire. In this car, we have more tire. The rear tires especially are gigantic. More tire equals more grip, more traction. And when you have more traction, then obviously the things that generate great racing is the lack of traction, the lack of grip. Being able, how you get out of dirty air is not dirty air itself. It's the car in front of you making mistakes. And if you don't make a mistake, you're able to take advantage of that. And your disadvantage of dirty air doesn't really become a disadvantage anymore because the car in front of you is struggling. And that's what we saw with the Gen 4 car, where dirty air wasn't as big of a deal. But those cars were small. And this is not just a NASCAR thing. And stay with me, guys, because we will talk about the race a little bit, but this is more of a general thing. Motorsports in general. What is Formula 1 dealing with right now? Formula 1 has very similar issues. They have big cars, big tires, and the big cars and the big tires generate a lot of dirty air. However, the changes they made from the previous specs of the car actually does counteracts dirty air better. I believe the next gen car actually does get through dirty air better than the Gen 6. I think that is not the problem either in F1 or in NASCAR, but I think both of them made similar mistakes in terms of everything keeps getting bigger, everything keeps getting wider. It's too much. The main thing with Formula 1 right now, it's not just Max Verstappen dominating, but the cars are too big. Genuinely, the cars are just way too big. They need to make them smaller for better racing purposes. Formula 1 is had a really poor season this season. Mainly because of obviously Verstappen's dominance, but also because the cars are generally too big. NASCAR doesn't have a dominance issue, but it does have a car issue. I think motorsports in general is going through like this little period where, the main two motorsports, Formula 1 and NASCAR, they're just going through this period of a downturn. And it is kind of their doing, but there are ways to fix it. And with this car, I don't think there's a short track package that will fix it. I don't think adding, or taking this tapered spacer off of the engine and having the engine roar up to 925 horsepower as it can, I don't think that's going to fix anything either. I really don't. And so you have a fundamental flaw with the car, and I think the only way you can fix this is you have to sit down, devise a plan, and maybe it won't be next season, but maybe the season after, which what would be 2026, right? maybe you can, not a new car, but changes to the car to make it smaller, to remove the tire, get less tire in the car so you can have less grip on the track, and figure out something that you want with the horsepower package, whether you want to go hybrid, whether you want to do, the full no tapered spacer. What do you want to do? I think there needs to be a complete rethink on the car. There's not going to be an aero package that fixes this. It's useless. Whatever changes they made in the offseason, NASCAR came out and said that they made changes. You can't notice it. It's genuinely not noticeable. There is not really any change. So that's the answer. I don't think you're going to see me come on here anymore and talk to you guys and be like, I don't know what the answer is. I think now we know what the answer is. Dale Jr. put off some really good opinions, and I think that's it. I think you just need to completely rebuild this car. I don't think you need a new car. You don't need a new car. I don't think you need, I think one of the benefits of it being kind of like a spec series is like the teams are closer. I don't think that's a problem. I think if you just had a better race car, the teams being closer would actually be a good thing. The problem is the teams are closer right now. Everyone's closer to each other, but they can't race against each other because there's just too much grip. No one's making mistakes. And we've seen that. There's, it's in the cautions, right? Like, there's not as many mistakes in NASCAR anymore. The lack of cautions are very prevalent. The lack of mistakes are very prevalent. And so that's going to have to change, And that's kind of the answer to it. That's why Martinsville has been, unfortunately, not one of the racetracks we look forward to. It's going to remain like this until NASCAR can make those changes. According to the race, William Byron wins his third race of the season. I think he's finally developing that killer instinct that we were talking about earlier this year. I was like, can William Byron capture that killer instinct? This is his second year of really being dominant. And now he's really, competing with Kyle Larson as the top dog in Hendrick Motorsports. And to be honest, maybe 2 to 3 years ago, I didn't see this. I thought William Byron, when he was coming up through the series, was excellent. Definitely should have won the Truck Series championship, but, had that stupid failure at Phoenix. Again, why this championship format is absolutely pathetic. Did well in the Xfinity Series and then goes to the Cup Series, and it's been a learning curve, but he's still, 26 years old, somewhere around there. And now he's really entered the prime, and he's absolutely dominating. And so, really, congratulations to William Byron. Nice to see the 24 car, obviously, for me, being in victory lane. But he's developing that killer instinct. He's developing the aggressiveness. He's developing that mentality where I think everyone thought William Byron was this nice kid and great race car driver, but no one really cared. You know what I mean? Like, no one, not the most outspoken driver. He's not hated, but he's not loved. He's just kind of there. And that's kind of William Byron. And that's why I drew that comparison to Martin Truex Jr. He reminds me a lot of Martin Truex Jr. He reminds me of that, he's developing that elite consistency. And Martin Truex Jr., when he was winning races, he definitely did have a killer instinct. And they both have this way of dominating races to an extent where it actually makes it boring. And then you'd think like, oh, every time this driver wins, he's winning the boring races. It's because they're dominating. Now, he didn't dominate this race. There were multiple people that led this race. William Byron led 88 laps. Kyle Larson led 86. Elliott led 64. Denny Hamlin led 66, and Joey Logano led 84. So obviously very evened out, but goes to show with this car as well. Kyle Larson was leading the early part of this race, loses his track position, right? Can't get back to the lead. Joey Logano ends up leading this race on 2 tires, and no one can pass him. He leads a lot of this race. William Byron leads the majority of the end of the race. Chase Elliott was leading there early in the final stage. And again, just not a lot of passing for the leader. And when the leader catches lap traffic, this is not something new. Like, we understand when a leader catches lap traffic at Martinsville or Bristol, yeah, everyone else catches up. That's normal. But, man, like, you can really see how much this car struggles in lap traffic, especially, even for the leaders. I think Chase Elliott at the end of this race was running behind Kyle Busch for, 50 laps. Like, it was actually insane. And if Kyle Busch didn't point the finger out the window to let William Byron go. Kyle Busch was running in front of William Byron. Byron could not get around him. And Busch points the finger out the window down the back straightaway, lets Byron go, and then Elliott cannot get around Kyle Busch. And It's not Kyle Busch's job to let Elliott go. It's just he was just trying to stay in the lucky dog. But even the drivers know, like, it's the leader of the race should not be struggling to run behind lap cars for 60 laps. Like, and if you don't let him go, like, he's not going to get around you unless he lays the bumper to you. That feels kind of wrong. So, like I said, this car has issues. It is what it is. Overall, the race, I don't think it was bad. I'm not going to say Martinsville races are bad. It's just not Martinsville. And that's what, like, we are so used to Martinsville being Martinsville. Like, excellent short track racing. The best short track we have. And for about 2 years, 3 years now, it's just another race. And that's really unfortunate. And again, it's not Martinsville's fault. It's really sad. My throat's given out a little bit. So let's go to the race results. We have a Hendrick 1-2-3. Obviously, I didn't talk about the 40th anniversary for Hendrick Motorsports. So obviously, great job by Hendrick Motorsports 1-2-3. Bubba Wallace did excellent. Started second. He did very, very good this weekend. So top 5 for him. Ryan Blaney came on strong there to get a 5th. With Joey Logano in 6th. Tyler Reddick, Alex Bowman, Ryan Preece, and Chase Briscoe round out your top 10. Denny Hamlin was competing for the win. That late race caution with 2 to go. He decides to come down pit road where the rest of the top 10 decide to stay out. And again, in another day, like with another car, think about what race was it? Was it 2012? Yes, 2012 Martinsville. Jimmy Johnson and Jeff Gordon battling for the win. They decide to stay out. Clint Boyer decides to come down pit lane. He restarts 3rd and just wipes them out in 1 and 2 because of the tire advantage. The next gen car can't really wipe anyone out. Not really a tire advantage. Tire wear didn't really exist this race. It's just a different. It's a completely different race that requires completely different pit calls when you have the tires not really wearing out, when you have it so difficult to pass. So, it's not Hamlin's fault or his crew chief's fault. It's not their fault. It was just, if I restart 4th, I'm not going to win this race. So just do what the leaders don't do and just hope that people come behind you. So that's kind of what it was. And so Denny Hamlin was not going to win the race from where he was running 4th. And so you just do what they don't do. And unfortunately, it didn't work out for him. But he wasn't going to win the race if he stayed out anyways. Eric Jones in 12th, Todd Gilliland in 13th, Ross Chastain 14th, Chris Buescher 15th, Kyle Busch in 16th, Hocevar, Truex, Gibbs, and Gragson around the top 20 with the rest of your results. And that is it for Martinsville. Let's take a look at the schedule to see where the next race is, because the schedule is so different from when I was growing up, so it's obviously very different now. But we are going to, where are we going to? Auto Trader Echo Park Automotive 400. What track is that? I'm going to take a guess. Is that Texas? It is. It's Texas Motor Speedway. Crap. God damn it. Beautiful Texas Motor Speedway. All right, well, I'm taking a vacation. You're not going to see me, guys, next Sunday. I'm kidding. Well, actually, I might be going to, if I can get better, I might be going to SeaWorld next Sunday, actually, guys, in Orlando. I might be going to SeaWorld. I think I have to go next Sunday anyway. So, yeah, I might not even see the race. And so if there's not a race for you next week, it's because I'm at SeaWorld and I'm not going to waste my Sunday watching Texas Motor Speedway. I just have I'm so sick of Texas Motor Speedway. I don't give a crap about it. I don't give a crap of the people that run that track. I don't give a crap about anything. I just don't care about that racetrack. I want it to just get bulldozed to oblivion. So it's not a Martinsville situation. If there's a bad race at Texas Motor Speedway, that's not NASCAR's fault. That's the racetrack and how stupid they are. So it is what it is. I'll see you guys hopefully tomorrow. I'm going to try and rest this throat. I think I did pretty well. I have the cough drop, which is really helping. So hopefully I'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care of yourselves. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram if you're not already. Sorry that the race review was uploaded a day later, but we were all watching WrestleMania, so it's okay. And I really couldn't talk last night. So I have tea as well, guys. The tea is helping too. I believe and believe. Ted Lasso, baby. So the tea is helping as well. Take care of yourselves, guys. We're 600 subscribers away from 80,000. So thank you guys so much for all your support. And hopefully you are enjoying your day. I will see you guys hopefully tomorrow. Take care of yourselves. Peace out.